What is up, YouTube? HPJ here. I am coming at you guys with Harpies. I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to have two variations of Harpies. This is primarily because I know you guys enjoy Harpies on two different levels. And I want to try to make one variation that will include Dragon and Tempest, and then one that won't include either of them because neither of them fit the way I like to play this deck. So, yeah. I'm going to have those variations. And I just wanted to give you guys that straight, which is also why I took down the other video, because I know you guys wanted a variation of Tempest. You guys see a variation of Tempest. Some people are running Tempest, some aren't. So, yeah. And I'll give you guys my full explanations of why I've included in this one, but not in the next one. So, ooh, excuse me. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, for my monster lineup, I'm rocking out with 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, 3 copies of Harpie Harpist, 2 copies each of Harpie Dancers, 1 Harpie Queen, 1 Harpie Oracle, 2 copies of Harpie Lady 1, and 1 copy of Harpie Lady Sisters, then 1 Harpie's Pet, 1 Tempest, and then a set of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So that is my complete main deck lineup. It is a clunky lineup too, so don't worry, I'll get to explaining that very soon. Next up is the spells, and I'm rocking 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 2 copies each of Harpie Lady of Elegant Egotist, because I almost called it Harpie Lady Elegance. 2 Elegant Egotist, 2 Harpies Hunting Ground, 2 Alluring Mirror Split, 1 Harpie's Feather Rest, and 2 Call by the Grave. So that is it for the spells. And then for the traps, the only traps I'm running are all Harpie traps, by the way. 3 copies of Harpie's Feather Storm, 2 copies of Harpie Lady Elegance, and 2 copies of Hysteric Party. So that is it for the main deck, 40 cards total. Then for the extra, I'm running, for my Link monsters, 1 Harpie Conductor, 1 Great Fly, 1 Fighter Fighting Darumadaw, and 1 Barrel Sword Dragon. And that's pretty much it for the Link monsters. And then going on to the Exceed monsters, because there's a lot of them. I'm running for the rank 4s. I have 1 Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Lightning Chidori, 1 Ice Beast Zero Fine, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Babushka, the Terribly Tired Tape Eater. So those are my 4s. On to my 7s. I'm running 1 copy of Mecha Fanabeast Draco Sack, 1 copy of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, 1 copy of number 11 Big Eye, and 1 copy of number 76 Harmonizing Grandella, or Grandella. Yeah, I'll call her Grandella. So till the anime wants to put her out there of what her name is, she's gonna be Harmonizing Grandella. All right. So that is it for both the main and the extra. So let's talk about it. All right, I'm gonna get the elephants out of the room. By the elephants out of the room, we're gonna talk about all these high level monsters I'm running in this deck. All right, so Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms, Harpie's Pet Dragon. So these 2 cards are being included because they, of course, work and synergize with Harpie Channeler. The fact that if you control a Dragon type monster, Channeler's level will change from 4 to 7. This gives you the optimal chance to run, of course, your rank 7 engine, which could be anything. But for most people, they're testing a Harmonizer, they're rocking Big Eye, they're rocking Flare Metal, and they're rocking Draco Sack. Primarily because these 4 monsters have great synergy with the Harpies. The way the Harpies can easily be ran if you want to run the rank 7 engine. Now, if you don't run a rank 7 engine, that's perfectly fine. I'll have a video up for that soon. But this is the rank 7 setup that I'm running in this variation because I have access to Dragon, I have access to Tempest. The only downside to Tempest is Tempest banishes Harpie monsters. However, there's one little monster that you can try out if you want to go down that route with Tempest. It's just an option, you don't have to run it, but I'm running Darumadaw for that option. And the reason why is because the Darumidol can get back a beast warrior, and beast warrior or winged beast monster that's been banished or in the graveyard, and add it to your hand when it destroys a monster by battle. So it doesn't have to send the monster to the graveyard; it just has to destroy by battle. So that means you can knock out some tokens with Darumidol. Darumidol can get you back your banished monsters, like your conductors, channelers, perfumers, anything that got banished from Tempest, or anything that's in the graveyard. You can add that card back to hand, so that you can recycle that card if needed. The other benefit to having Darumidol is the 100 additional attack and defense that it gives to that it has for each beast warrior and or winged beast, which is also funny because those are 3 monsters that you can use for its material. Luckily enough, Harpies are winged beasts, so you can take advantage of that. The other advantage of this card, and of course the most important, is that it has its link markers, bottom left, bottom right. So you have to take advantage of that, in which you can spam your other monsters to your links, to your other zones that this monster will point to. So that's literally the best benefits to it right here. And of course you have the beneficial effects of all these high level all these high ranked monsters. You have Draco Sack, who can of course make tokens, and then you can use the tokens for link summoning for various monsters. Actually, Harpie Conductor and Greyfly, because his tokens are wind. You have Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, who cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect while it has Exceed material. One of the highest 7s that I'm running right now. I believe there is 1 or 2 more high ranked level 7 monsters. I believe one of them is another number monster. I think the Moth. And then there's another one that's just a generic beat stick as well. I forget what it does. I know there's a lot more 7s. You also have Master Blaze that can be an option. There's a lot of options with Direct 7 built. We can move over, of course, to Brain Control. I mean, Big Eye. And the benefits of Big Eye is, well, you can just sit on Big Eye for defense. Really, and just snatch whatever monster your opponent has. You can snatch a Link monster, you can snatch a Synchro, Exceed, or just a regular monster, and Link it away, Synchro it away, Exceed it away. Just whatever you can do with it, do with Big Eye. And that's what Big Eye's here for. And then we have this beautiful number 76 Harmonizing Grintelda. As soon as the thing gets... There you go. So, Grintelda takes 2 level 7 monsters for her summon. Her attribute will also be treated as any attribute of monsters that are attached to her. So if she has some wind monsters attached to her, her attribute will be both light and wind. The other thing about this beautiful lady is that she can be destroyed by battle or by the effects of monsters who share the same attribute as her. Then a quick effect of her is once per turn, you can detach a material from her to attach a material from your graveyard. Attach a monster to her as material from your graveyard. So you can attach any of these big guys to her. And because of their various attributes, in addition to her own, bam, she can become a very versatile monster to dealing with a lot of things. So she can easily not be destroyed by fire. I do got some water cards, of course, and then earth as well. So she has a range in which she can take advantage of. And because of her effect being a quick effect, she can swap between monsters to protect herself from a lot of various decks if you want to. Now, with that all said and done, we're going to move Tempest out. We're going to move Chandler out the way to go back to Tempest and Dragon. Because I'll just openly honestly say it. I'm not really interested in running either. But I built this on the factor of in case others wanted to run it. And for me, honestly, just because of how I play out with this deck, I'm running 7s because I don't want to clog up. Like, I'm already running the biggest set of ladies in the deck, alright? I don't need more cards clogging. So, it's just a freebie setup. That's all it is. If you're interested in running Run Dragon and Tempest, this video hopefully helps you out. Or maybe give you some inspirations on what you want to build with it. Other than that, I think I've said it already if it's not on Instagram or on Facebook. I would actually just prefer to run Dragon over Tempest because Dragon has more utility in the archetype than Tempest does. Tempest just is here because it's floater. The other thing about Tempest, and I'll verbally say it, is that Tempest is the only Dragon with a weak effect. And that's the reason why Blaster, Tidal, and Redox haven't come back. It's simply because of that. Tempest can only search for wind dragon type monsters, which only flex it to Dragonides, a couple of the Rockets, Harpie's pet dragon, and a couple of free-floating dragons here and there. With the exception of it not having having the most balance of attack and defense. I think that's the only reason why this monster has ever seen off the ban list and not the other dragons. Because fire can easily abuse their monster. Dragons can abuse anything, which is also I think why Dark Matter got hit, but not Dark Matter and Eclipse Wafer ended up getting banned. And then when you look at the setups of most decks that can run dragon support, Tempest is just going to flat out be that abusable source. So that's the only reason why he got here, but he has some of the most weakest setup to himself. He only searches for wind dragons. He can't really send anything to the graveyard unless you're sending it through his effect. Then that's only if it's wind or a dragon. And then you have to search for a dragon. So with Blaster, he has some benefits to himself, being the highest of the elemental dragons, and then having title for a decent amount, but it's a foolish burial. And Redox is a monster reborn with the highest defense. So, all right, I got that out the way. The Harpie Lady Sisters. So I am still running one Sisters because of Perfumer and Oracle, and that is simply because of their additional effects. If you control a level 5 or higher monster, you can summon Oracle from your hand, and then Harpie Perfumer, as well as Harpie's Pet and Harpie Chandler with the dragon on the field. She can be able to search for two cards with a different name that are spells and traps that specifically list Harpie Lady Sisters in its tags. While Oracle allows you to retrieve one monster from it. I'm only running the one Oracle simply just because it can float around. And I was already running out of deck space, so if I wanted to include some more cards, I had to take one out take a couple of them out to get some more free float. And Perfumer at 3 is because she's a lot more better reserved for her effect, because it's on a normal or a special. Oracle still has to wait to the end phase. And plus, both of these monsters can help search for a lot of spells and trap cards in this deck anyway. So that is them. And then just for the most part of the Harpie Lady Sisters, I am running the 2 Harpie Lady 1s for the attack power. And then the Harpie Lady Sisters is here for that additional float. Lord Jesus, I'm not going to lie. I've had some really weird hands with this deck. I ain't going to lie. But setup aside, you can easily maintain this deck with, the Tempest, the Dragon, and the Sisters. And then, of course, you have your accessibility with, your accessible recycling abilities, of course, with cards like Dagastone Emerald, Harpie's Featherass, Alluring Mirror Split, Harpie Lady Elegance. So you have a lot of adventures there. But these 3 monsters are pretty much your biggest assets in terms of running Elegant Egotist, because these are all real targets that can be summoned off Ego. So keep that in mind. If you want to, you can add another Harpie Lady S monster to your deck if you want to, just to have the additional setup. An additional monster to target. Other than that, for the rest of the monsters, we've already talked about Chandler. We'll talk about Harpie's Dancer Queen. So, Harpie Queen, pretty much our 19 beat stick, and she discards herself to search for Harpie's Hunting Ground, our field spell. The one of is only because, like I said, room, fatality to get into stuff, and just an easier access. Harpie Dancer, which I'm rocking at 2, is because I can abuse Harpie Conductor's effect. I can bounce those Harpies back and forth, or just win monsters in general back and forth with her effect. And I don't have to worry about too much. She also interacts well with Harpus, who her ability is that when she's normal summoned, you can target a winged beast monster you control, the face-up monster your opponent controls, and return those cards to hand. So, in conjunction with Conductor, it's another way just to remove stuff, especially through Conductor's effect. So, she's also the Searcher as well, because she can search for one winged beast monster that's level 4 with 15 or less attack. And right off the bat, you can go get Dancer, you can go get Perfumer, you can go get Chandler, you can get Oracle, you can get Harpie Lady 1. And she just has the float to get a lot of those monsters. Alright, the only other monster to talk about is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and that's simply because hand trap. Alright, moving on from that, we have, of course, the biggest spell card to search for a lot of cards in this deck, and that is Hysteric Sign. With all the free floating going around and the accessibility of Harpie Conductor, that is literally why this card is still an amazing card for Harpies. You can go get LED Egotist through this card's effect from the hand or graveyard. You can destroy this card with Harpie Conductor's effect to protect your Harpie cards. And then during the end phase, you can search for 3 Harpie cards with a different name amongst each other and add them to your hand. Plus, we have trap cards now that we can search for. So, this is a must-have at 3 because literally you can search for practically your entire engine. You can search for a rebuttal play. You can search for a counter play with Hysteric Sign. And of course, you can search for Harpie's Featherstorm. And then that card, I'll get to that card momentarily. Elegant Egotist. So, like I said with Harpie Lady 1 is Harpie Lady Sisters. Those are the primary targets. But luckily enough, Harpie Queen, Chandler, Dancer, Perfumer, Oracle, and Conductor are Harpie Lady 1 on the field or in the grave. Become Harpie Lady 1 on the field and graveyard. So it helps fluctuate this card and gets a lot of things going. I have no negatives about this card except for just how many I'd run. Because I'm not running multiple targets. Like I'm not running 4 or 5. So yeah, you get the picture. Like I have Perfumer, I have Oracle, I have Hysteric Sign, so I can get this card back or retrieve this card from the graveyard as much as possible with freebie through effects. Unfortunately, most of those effects are once a turn, so yeah, you gotta figure out how it works. But that's why I'm running 2 instead of 1 because it can easily fluctuate itself, and if I need to get that summon off incidentally and go into someone like Barrel Sword, bam, I can go get 2 instead of the 1, and it helps out. Harpie's Hunting Ground, I'm only running 2 of these. I might bump up to 3, I'm not sure. Just because of the fact that we have Solemn Judgment at 3. This doesn't really help in terms of countering Judgment, but I want to at least have some way to break out a lot of cards or not have to deal with bluffs. So, yeah, but that's just because of the fact that we all know when a Harpie Lady or Sisters is going to recessive summon, pop that spell or trap card on the field, and that is mandatory, and then the 200 additional attack. Alluring Mirror Split. This works well, of course, like I said, with Conductor in them, because if it's destroyed by your opponent's card effect or your Harpie card effect, you can touch summon a Harpie monster from the graveyard to the field. So making that accessible ease to Harpie's Pet Dragon. Then on top of that, if the Harpie Lady or Sisters is destroyed by battle, you can search your deck for a Harpie monster to summon to field whose original name is different from the original name of the monster that was destroyed. I mean, different from the monster that was destroyed. So it works out on that end. And it's just an amazing card overall. And I do love the artwork, both OCG and TCG. Speaking of OCG and TCG artworks, Harpie's Feather Rust, the pot average for the Harpie archetype. If you have a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you draw 2 cards instead. And this thing has gotten me out of a lot of jammers. This thing has gotten me a lot of plus plays. This thing is this is an amazing card overall. And I think only 1 is needed because you don't want to run 2. I don't mean it's an option. Like I said, this card isn't limited or anything. It's just the 1 is the free float. The 1 is the safe haven of setups. And you don't have to stress yourself too hard around this card. And then the only other thing about this card is that it is restricted to attribute summon. Yeah, by attribute summon, I mean restricted to attribute summon in that text is just that when you activate this card and it resolves, you can only summon wind monsters for the rest of the turn. But luckily enough, Harpies have a ton of those to help support. So hopefully if you can make your big monsters before this card gets dropped, go for it, and you can go from there. This is a great recovery card. It's a great +2 if you have that level 5 or higher. And just don't be afraid to run it. Alright, and then another card I have left is Call by the Grave, and that's literally to deal with hand traps and other nasty monster effects by banishing them from the graveyard. Alright, now let's move on to literally all the trap cards in this deck I'm running are Harpie traps. It's Hysteric Party, Harpie Lady Elegance, and Harpie's Featherstorm. So let's talk about Featherstorm, one of the most broken out Harpie trap cards. This card allows you to to activate this card from your hand if you control a Harpie monster. If you control a Winged Beast, you can negate the effects of all your opponent's monsters till the end of the turn. Best benefit of this is that Hysteric Sign can search for it because it has Harpie in its name. The fact that you can drop this when you have a Harpie monster from your hand, and literally it shuts down all your opponent's monster effects. The only thing that I'm just still upset about this is that we don't have Feather Duster. Literally, I'll say it. If I could trade Feather Duster for Tempest, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Just so that I can have this card resolve and I actually have use of Feather Duster. Harpie Lady Elegance. Pretty much shuffle back Harpie Sisters and get 3 new Harpie monsters onto the board. It spreads out for, of course, your massive summons. It allows you to get cards like Dragon onto the field a little faster. You can take advantage of Oracle and Perfumer through that level 5 or higher Harpie monster being on the board. And it is just like Harpie's Feather S is restricted. But the reason why I'm running 2 is because of course, of its last effect, which is if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect or your Harpie card effect, you can search your deck for a Harpie monster and add it to your hand. And that can be very useful at a lot of points, especially when you're going to rush into a new summon, like going to get Oracle, going to get Dancer, so you can have those access to additional summons as well. Or you can go get Harpies, and then you can drop through that. And like I said, the range of this card is helpful. For both its summon and its graveyard effect. Its summon and its destruction effect. Then we have Hysteric Party, which pretty much just floods the board with Harpie ladies. And like I said, the range is real with this. Because you have Conductor, you have Harpie Oracle, Perfumer, Chandler, Dancer, Harpist, Harpie Lady 1, you name it. Just so that Harpie Lady Sisters, because it's not true Harpie Lady. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the main deck. And then with the exception of most of the extra deck, the one Conductor and the one Great Fly, because this is a win deck, this is win oriented. Conductor is Harpie's biggest set maker when it comes to a lot of your other plays, and of course she's a Harpie lady watching the field in the graveyard, so it helps there. And then of course we can't forget the ever faithful Servant. No, I'm not talking about Harpie's pet dragon, I'm talking about Harpie's pet Phantasmal dragon, which the deck still has a lot of access to. And a combination of both Conductor and Phantasmal, you pretty much can protect your Harpie monsters from almost everything. They can't be destroyed because you'll easily be destroying a spell trap card with Conductor. You have Phantasmal to make sure that they can't be affected by cards like Effect Veiler and stuff like that. So yeah, you're pretty much set with both of these, and it's really nice to know that my favorite deck has extra deck monsters. It's been such a long time, and have some good use out of these extra deck monsters. I think the only thing we can all agree about is this is the ugliest and most garish color they could have chosen for Harpie Conductor, but we'll live with it. Alright, and then of course for the rest of the extra deck stuff, I did manage to get my hands, of course, on Barrel Sword Dragon, one of the highly acclaimed and useful monsters in an extra deck. I'm enjoying having this, and I'm lucky enough that I tested a lot of this out with him, so that's it. Yeah, this is just an amazing monster overall, so I'm glad to pick myself up one. Worth every setup of trying to get it. And then for the rest of the monsters, I've already talked about Dragosag, Big Eye, and all of them. Emerald is back. I was shocked when Emerald came back. I never expected Emerald to come back. I thought Emerald was going to stay off the list, stay on the ban section, but he came back. Pot of Avarice, effect, if you want to run normal monsters, you can, to get special summon off of Emerald. It's just an overall good monster. It really is, and I'm glad to see Emerald come back. And plus, it's wind, so you can abuse that factor. Speaking of wind, Tornado Dragon and Lightning Chidori, I unfortunately cut Castel. You can easily add back Castel if you want to. Maybe you want to drop Ice, B0 Find, or drop a couple other monsters. But I do just, yeah, this is pretty much my rank 4 in addition to Phantasmal. I do have Babushka, I do have Abyss Dweller as well, but this is like the 4 setup that I run. Tornado to help get rid of some cards, Chidori as well. Tornado is not a dragon, he's a Yerm, so he won't conflict with Harpie's pet. He won't conflict with Chandler in terms of that, but It's really easy to make. Chidori, of course, long-standing history with the Harpies. You can bounce stuff here and there. ISP 0 fine can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls. And for each face-up card on the board, she'll gain an additional 300 attack and defense. The 300 attack till your next standby phase. So she can make herself a huge beat stick. Dweller to deal with the graveyard in addition to Call by the Grave, and Babushka in case you just need to stall out and wait for opening plays and stuff. Downside to Babushka, he's not a beast, which he kind of was, but he'd be even more abusable. Alright, so that is pretty much it for this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll have the other variation of this up pretty soon, because I have my own variation of the Harpie deck that I want to have up, and I'll have that up pretty soon as well. So, thanks everybody for watching. Hit that notification bell when you guys want to be informed of when I upload, and hopefully by time I can do some live streams and stuff like that. So, thanks everybody for watching. HPJ signing out. Take care.